Hey everybody! Oh my gosh. Okay. Um, so let's see here. There's like, oh, I think that's the sun. Okay, so I was just thinking, has this ever happened to you? I'm sure it has. Because okay, so just now I I put my phone charger by my desk. And for a long time, I've had it by my bed. I have two phone chargers. I have one where I sit, which I never had before, and then I have one by my bed. And for years, that's where I would charge my phone at night, is by my bed, because I literally wouldn't use the the phone enough to kill the battery. And so here it is by my bed every night, plug in the phone. And anyhow, I just we just went on a trip. We came home, and I was doing a whole bunch of different things. I was on the phone with some phone calls, and then I was in some meetings where I had to make some notes, and then yeah, just like on the phone, right? And so here, I was like, oh man, I gotta charge my phone because it's gonna die. And so I was looking for my phone charger. My husband, who he packed it, I had said I don't need it, and he packed it, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna take it anyway." And I said, "No, I don't need it on this trip because I knew that I don't know if it, yeah, I think it's resumed anyway." So I had said I don't want to take my phone charger because I didn't want to be on my phone much because there was so much visiting to get in. And then B, that I actually like the phone charger in the car, and I knew we'd be in the car for a majority of the trip, so I thought I'll just use the car one. Anyhow, I didn't have that entire conversation with Brody because we were busy doing other things. So he instinctively just said, I'm going to pack it. So I didn't use it on the trip. And then so just now I phoned him and I'm like, like, where's the phone charger? Anyways, we sorted that out. And here I was going to go and plug it back in where it was. But then it's like, but that's not where I use it, right? Like that's not where it would come into good use for me. And what I realized was that, and I wonder if that's the same with you, which I think it would be. Oh, you know what? We'll resume later. Let's go with, oh, oh, I wonder if it was still recording. Well, that's interesting. Oh my goodness. Okay, anyway, so maybe you heard my conversation. Oh, maybe I should edit that out because I don't know if he would want to hear. Anyway, okay, so here I am, and I was I'm trying to think, where was I at with you and this story. I was thinking, oh, so I put my phone charger over here because life has kind of changed, right? Like as it does, as it should, I guess. Like we're all evolving, progressing, transforming, whatever language you want to use, changing. And so here I am, and so I put my charger over here by my desk so that I could do more work and but still have my phone near. And it got me thinking about how we as people, no, let me start over. It got me thinking about this story that I heard quite a few years ago that really, that story got me thinking about how we as people stay in situations or stay with patterns of life because we think, or because we don't process them, because we just do it, right? Like we don't actually mentally process. Because, and usually our life is so full that something like that, we don't have time, we don't think that we have time to process, or it's minimal, it's not worth processing. So for me anyways, that's where I've come from. And the other thing too that I've come from is at a place where I am like, oh man, you know, like in our house growing up, obedience was like number one, which I'm thankful for. You know, there's things, of course, that weren't easy as a kid to be obedient about, but that was a key piece in my upbringing, was to be obedient. And and I think that it has had some real great impact on who I am and how I behave and how how I take care of my life. And so obedience is a good thing, but it also can get to a place where, for me, for whatever reason, it just like, it got to a place where I was obedient for the sake of being obedient rather than being obedient because it's a good thing to do in that situation. So I didn't know that I can assess situations and decide whether I was obedient. I just, and I think that came from, because I had a bone disease, like was born with a bone disease. So my parents were super good about protecting me. They were like, you know, like they were very mindful about what I did. And so that then, you know, like the only people that I had to be obedient to were potentially them and, say, like school. Like, so there wasn't like, I didn't have to make decisions about whether, so here I am, and let's see if I'm going to move this up. Let's see if that makes, oh, I might like that. So here I am, and then what wants to fall? Let's put it down again then. So here I am, and I am just like obedient for the sake of being obedient, right? And that got me into a lot of trouble. I became like a drinker because I then was becoming obedient to like crowds that I was part of. And anyhow, like there's a whole nother trail that we can go down in that, with that. But the size was I heard a story about, I don't know who these people were. I don't know where I heard the story. But this mom was making a ham, roasting a ham in the oven, and she cut the ends off and she put it in the pan and she put it in the oven. And her child asked her, "Why are you cutting the ends off?" And she said, "Oh, well, that's the way my mom did it. And so I'm cutting the ends off and I put it in the pan and put it in the oven." Okay. So then the child went to her grandma and said, "Grandma, why do you cut the ends off the ham?" She said, "Oh, well, my mom did that, and that's how we do it, right? Is we cut the ends off the ham and we put it in the oven." And this girl, being fortunate enough to have her great-grandmother, went to her great-grandmother and asked, like, "Grandma, why do you cut the ends off the ham in the oven?" And she responded, "Because the pan was too short." And it just like the pan was too short, right? And so here for 3 generations, until, this next generation asked, there was no rhyme or reason, just doing it, right? Like just out of tradition. And so I think so often that happens. I know it happens in my own life. Oh man, I know it happens. And so I'm just wondering, does it happen in your life? And what brought you out of it? What brought you out of that? I'm going to see if I can go back in and delete the other conversation over the phone, just for his privacy. I don't care personally, but yeah, have a good day, guys. Thanks for sharing with me. And yeah, comment. I want to hear about you, and I want to hear what stories you have, like the ham story, right? Yeah. And you're more than welcome to share. I mean, you don't have to, but you're welcome to. Okay, bye for now. Oh, how do I do it?